A man picks up a handful of cow dung and smells it carefully, guessing that the yaks will definitely be nearby. That cow dung gets rubbed on his face so that his human smell is hidden, and slowly takes his tribe members ahead, waiting for the right time. Some ants climb on him, but he doesn't move at all. He is thrown straight away without any hesitation. As soon as the yaks group comes in the range to attack, the chief orders immediately. The tribe members move forward, throwing their stone arrows, so that the yak's path stops. Without any other option, the group turns back. Unknowingly, they are moving towards a steep slope. Suddenly, an angry yak turns towards the weakest person. He hits the boy with all his strength, so that he flies and falls to the edge of the cliff. In a moment, the father throws his stone arrow, but it's too late. The yaks run to the edge of the cliff and look down, and see that his son is hanging from a cliff. He is about to fall at any moment. The father screams and asks his son to hold him a little longer. But the injured boy does not have any more strength left. As soon as the stone breaks, he falls down. Fortunately, the boy falls to one side and escapes. The father wants to go down to save him, refusing to accept the cruel reality. But the tribe members tell him not to risk his life. The father stands on the edge of the cliff all evening and calls out to his son. Looking at the yaks, the angry yak has to force his prey and the tribe back. But no answer comes. After some time, the boy wakes up because of a thud and finds himself on a steep cliff. He calls out to his father in despair, but no answer comes. He knows that if he just sits, then death is certain. So he tries to climb down, but soon the supports are over. He grabs a cliff, and in the middle of the wind, he is stuck somewhere. Suddenly, the rain starts. The boy holds on to his life with strength, feeling cold and hungry. He looks down in fear, but sees that the rain is gathering under the cliff. He takes a bold decision. After some time, the boy comes to his senses. Not only thirsty and hungry, but his bones have also been torn. He recovers his bones from a stone while enduring the pain, and moves towards the cliff. Finally, he reaches the edge and sees a grave that his father had built for him. His heart breaks, and deep grief prevails over him. Without his father in the tribe, he doesn't find a way to go home. Then, from the nearby mountain, the scary sounds of the yaks ring out. He immediately wakes up and, before it's dark, he runs to a dry tree, spending his first night alone. The next day, as he fills the water from the lake, the yaks see him and follow him. He quickly climbs up the dry tree, takes out the yaks and attacks the yak's legs, which somehow saves his life. As the yaks start to scatter, only a seriously injured yak remains on the ground, breathing hard. The boy slowly goes to him, and is about to hit him in the head with his spear. But he can't stop himself. Even while hunting, he couldn't kill the wild yaks. And now, when the yaks, who tried to kill him, are on the ground, he still can't do it. He slowly ties the yak's face with a rope, and takes him to the bank of the river. The boy decides to spend the night in a cave with the yaks. But the next day, when he wakes up, he sees that the yaks were staring at him. The boy didn't care about it, and went out to collect the herbs. When he was drinking the medicine with pain, the yaks opened the rope of their mouth with their claws, and showed the boy the teeth. The boy didn't fear, but slowly went to him, and in a soft voice, he started to calm him down. The yaks understood that the boy would not hurt him, so he drank water from the boy's hand. This was the first time the yaks had accepted human care. But their problem was not over yet. They still had nothing to eat, and the cold was about to come. The boy had to return to his tribe, but he was afraid of being hunted. So he tried to get rid of the insects and mosquitoes. The yaks didn't like the boy at all, because all this was not enough for his hunger. One day, the boy finally took control of his fear and decided to hunt. The boy immediately tore a piece of raw meat and showed his teeth so that it could be made into a palato. After this, the boy rubbed the wood and set it on fire and ate the cooked food for the first time. While the yaks were looking poor, the yaks started barking like small dogs, as if they were asking the boy for food. The boy saw that his strength had been established, so he gave the yaks some leftover food. The boy tried to make friends and strengthen the yaks at night, but the yaks still didn't make a complete dog. They both sat under the sky full of stars. The boy accepted that he was missing his home, but he had to learn to depend on himself. The yak suddenly realized that this boy had now learned to deal with the difficulties of the jungle. The boy's leg had also fully recovered, and he was getting ready to return home. He wanted to bid farewell to the yaks, but the yaks grabbed his own muffler. After a lot of effort, the boy released the muffler and thanked the yaks for supporting him. But the yaks were not ready to leave. As soon as the boy moved forward, the yaks quietly followed him. The boy tried to chase him again and again, but the yaks didn't. But the yaks weren't ready to leave him. Suddenly, the yaks jumped ahead of him, and he saw that there were some wild bears down the hill. Suddenly, the yaks fell on him, and the boy was scared to stand there. As soon as the wild bears ran toward him like crazy, the boy's feet shivered. The bears ran out, and the yak started looking at the boy with deep eyes. Was the boy really worthy of walking with him? Who was doing such immoral things? The boy also bowed down and made an excuse. The boy forced himself to clean himself, but the yaks were not ready to listen to his useless talks. When the yaks were about to return to the jungle, the boy rang the bell. The sound of the whistle, like a wolf, was cast by an unseen spell. He would come back every time he heard it. Perhaps, if the wolf had been raised by humans, he could have been called a dog. The boy named him Alpha, and the two started hunting together. Alpha would help catch the prey, and the boy would prepare the food. When the prey was strong, the boy would also help him. Gradually, their friendship deepened. At night, when they ate, Alpha would always stop the boy from eating more. But when it was time to sleep, the same wolf would come to the boy with its soft fur. Sometimes, it would even lick the boy in the morning. But the smell of the Alpha would come, so the boy thought he should be bathed. Without thinking, he threw him directly into the lake. After bathing, Alpha saw a small fish in the lake and jumped at the right time and caught one. Now the boy and Alpha were dependent on each other. As the winter grew, the whole area was covered with snow. In the meantime, their relationship improved even more. One night, a black wolf slowly came to them. The boy immediately took out his spear and became alert. But Alpha himself went to the black wolf. Perhaps, he was also remembering his home. The boy understood that he could not stop him. He let the Alpha go. Now every night, the boy spent with the Alpha, remembering the moments. The next day, when he went alone on the snowy roads, he accidentally fell into the lake. The fast waves washed him away. To break the ice, he began to hit with all his strength. Then he saw a shadow. Alpha came back. He jumped high and tried to save the boy. But it didn't work. But seeing the Alpha, the boy's desire to stay alive again aroused. He broke the ice with his axe. Even though he was shivering from the cold, he managed to manage himself somehow and succeeded in burning the fire. The temperature was falling continuously. The boy was just hoping. Then he saw a human figure far away. He happily ran to him. But when he went closer, he was frozen from the cold. His face was covered with ice. The boy somehow got into his tent and tried to look for food. In this dangerous weather, he hadn't eaten anything for many days. The situation got worse when the boy started bleeding. He needed treatment as soon as possible. After resting for a day, the boy moved forward with his bow and arrow. But it wasn't far that a group of hunting dogs surrounded him. These animals were very dangerous. The boy and the alpha were hiding in a cave to save their lives. Both were breathing so hard that not a single sound came out. The hunting dogs left, but there was even greater danger in the cave. They woke up a giant hunting animal. The tiger-toothed tiger hunter was more dangerous than a wolf, but on the way, the alpha stood up to stop him. Although the alpha couldn't stand in front of him, he kept trying to stop him by standing up again and again. In the last moment, he grabbed his bow and arrow. After overcoming the danger, the alpha was also unconscious. He called out to him, but he was not responding. He saved the alpha from the icy winds, and the alpha also kept walking with him. Finally, he got a small mark on the road, but his wounds became even more serious. Now they only had each other's support. He slept on the icy ground at night. As the cold grew, the alpha finally couldn't take it. He fell down. His condition was very bad, and there was no way to treat him immediately. He tried to give him courage, but the alpha had no strength left. Then he picked him up in his arms and kept walking. But in the end, he also fell down. In his unconsciousness, he saw the dream of his parents, who were waiting for him to return home. This dream gave him courage again, and he suddenly woke up. He picked up the alpha in his lap and kept moving forward. The hope in his heart kept him alive. But if they wanted to live, they had to keep on traveling. And in the end, he saw his tribe. The alpha couldn't last long anymore, but he stepped up. When he reached the village, everyone couldn't believe it. The alpha was alive, but due to deep injuries, he fell down after a few steps. He raised his hand. His father touched his face with emotion, and his mother came to him crying. No one thought that he would return alive. In his unconsciousness, he pointed to the alpha and begged his father to save him. Without the alpha, he couldn't fight the enemies. When he came to his senses, he saw the alpha for the first time. He was lying in peace. He wasn't fully recovered. But the chief priest put his hand on the alpha's stomach, as if he were feeling something. After a while, the alpha gave birth to many small, lovely wolves. During the fight, he was pregnant. He took care of him with love. And he was grateful to him. He said that he risked his life to protect him. In a few moments, those little wolves